all went up looking like the feds raided Diddy's house and took the tapes made in a sex dungeon away from him. Now, unfortunately for Diddy and Usher, some of them got leaked.
Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows. The white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Moved to New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans. Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, they ain't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Now, while we blame Diddy for grooming Usher and introducing him to wild parties, we can't help but fault Usher's mama for letting him stay with Diddy at such an impressionable age.
Puff is making jokes about how they used to wrestle for the Frosted Flakes in the morning. And
yeah, I bet they did. Somebody frosted somebody flakes. Without the milk.
What do you think it is that keeps Usher from coming out or saying anything?
Because, yo, dog, it's you got to realize in that industry, a lot of people or stand back and say, well, it happened to me. That's how some of them people pay their dues. And the people who don't go down like that don't be as great as the Ushers, as the Diddys. It's a way of passage to certain people in the entertainment business.
With all these people coming out against Diddy, do you think more people are going to come out?
It's a lot of people that, you got to realize is that everybody think, oh, everybody's coming out now. It's a lot of people that wanted to bring stuff out long time ago, but the lawyers wouldn't take it. The lawyers wouldn't deal with it. Cassie opened up a floodgate for lawyers to look at people's cases now and say, yeah, we might could get some money out of that. We might could do that. Yeah, he did abuse you. Nobody really cared at first. But now they see that a lot of this stuff may have some truth to it and the people can be paid for it.
This is Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
go
ahead and play this. Watch
It's
it.
about a minute, right? Yeah. Okay. Wait till the end, though.
To New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor
He's 13 at the time.
Adam, let us hear it. Go back 5 seconds, please. Go back, because what he called it right there is what's key. Go ahead.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Not really.
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty
13
wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking
that's
place.
called rape.
And I didn't necessarily understand.
When you're 13.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige.
Yeah, good
they
job.
knew nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
You're 13.
Did you have to be doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble
Diddy.
somewhat?
So
or are you
crazy.
just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what time, do you
He
have
can pause
money?
it.
Okay. How is that how is that normal at any time?
Do you have the part where they said, would you let your kids go there? He goes,
keep playing.
hell no.
Keep playing it, Rob, because I think it's at the end.
Yeah.
Per diem. Yeah, I had like,
Yeah,
like
what
a
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
Yeah, that's the thing. right?
Concerning.
I have kids. I don't even post. And then, the Twitter trolls will be, we're her kids. Well, I'm protecting them. And this is sad. I mean, this is sad. And this one with Bieber.
This is the
same
Bieber
thing.
one? Yeah.
Where are the parents?
Yeah, and which parent would say, you know what? We don't know you. We know that you're a celebrity. Go and hang out with this guy for weeks on end by yourself. And at what time, at what era is this cool?
In the most critical years, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. How is this, Alina?
They
have you
both
seen this clip?
turn-
How is this normal?
So-
They both
good.
turn into superstars.
Yeah.
That's the sacrifice you make.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the sacrifice. But one of them
Or
had to go
else-
to church and he freaking lost his mind. Can you play this one? How's this?
He's in. You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives. Like, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
What the?
I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
Now the details of what was done to Usher were reported to be horrific. I just don't understand why he would tape it, though. Maybe he thought he'd never get caught.
Light of all the allegations that's against him and what he's going through right now in the world of the press, the Homeland Security invading his house in Miami and LA and all of this other stuff. I don't want to believe none of it. Innocent until proven guilty, damn it. But the bottom line is we've seen folks in the industry be gotten after before. I don't know if we've ever seen it on this level. Your thoughts?
Prayer. Pray for him. The way the world is set up where everybody can chime in on your life, it's kind of unfair.
Totally.
When you're going through, a situation like he's going through. But nobody knows. There's always three. His side of the story, the people's, and the actual truth. Well, you gotta wait to see what comes out.
This is a quick. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think I think he's getting a lot of negative. People kicking him while he's going through it. I don't think that's that cool. But
no, it ain't.
I think you gotta mind your business and just see what happens and try to pray for him.
Not over something like this. I'll be damned if anybody gonna sit up there and say I'm saying he's guilty. I don't want to believe he's guilty of such a thing. As far as I'm concerned, you innocent until proven guilty. I don't know anything, but I do feel it's fair to ask this next question. How is and was he viewed in the hip-hop industry as a person, as a producer, a guy? Talk about when folks bring up Sean P. Diddy Combs, what were the thoughts that came to everybody's mind in that genre?
A great mogul, you know what I mean? He started from the bottom as an intern and turned and made a $1 billion label, or turned himself to a billionaire, or close to a billionaire, or you know what I mean? And he was beloved. Some of the best parties, without that I ever been to in my life.
I went to a couple. I
can
confirm that. Yes.
And that's it. People loved him. He loved to have fun. He loved to make music, make hits. He helped change my life.
How?
You know what I mean? He gave my first record. Yeah. Whether it was a good deal or a bad deal, it gave me an opportunity to be here with you today. So, you know what I mean? We gotta just see, like you said, innocent until proven guilty, and nobody knows what's going on except him and whoever's involved. So
I ain't got no problem saying this about Diddy. I love his business acumen. I love the go-get-it mentality.
Definitely one of the most impeccable businessmen of all time.
I love how he pushed and encouraged all of us to go for it in the world of business. That's my interpretation based on a few conversations that I've had with him in my lifetime. He's trying to own an NBA team. 4 years ago, he's trying to be a part of a group to buy the Charlotte Hornets. And he wanted to be a part of that. That's how I spoke to him. What about you? What about you in terms of what he had to push?
That's what if you've been around, I mean,
looks to me like they don't want to call him out on what he's done to Usher and other people.
Let's get right into it because we got a lot of stuff to get into.
Yes,
we got a lot of stuff, especially as it entails you directly and in a good way. But before we even get into that, I got to ask you right now.
Yeah.
You know about this case, and we've talked about this case against Sean P. Diddy Combs, obviously being accused of sexual assault, sexual trafficking, engaging in other criminal activity. You've seen all of this take place, all of this come in motion. What were your thoughts when you first heard about it?
Well, Stephen, I can't say I'm surprised. Unfortunately, we are still very much as a society and as a culture dealing with the continued reckoning, as it will, with Me Too. So we know no industry is untouched. And so there was just a matter of time before we saw more of it as it relates to hip hop. So the allegations are horrendous. We all kind of, I think, were rocked a bit in late November 2023 when we saw the original Cassie of it all, which really started what became a snowball of what we've seen thus far. There's at least 6 current litigation spaces in which he's named, and the most recent being where he's a named defendant, not accused of sex assault, but of aiding and abetting the sex assault of allegedly his son. We're talking about Christian Combs.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's sad, it's heavy. Of course, all allegations at this point. He's not been convicted of anything. In fact, he's not been criminally charged.
That's right.
Of anything.
And
I
what
think
are we
that's
to make
important.
of that? What do we
Yeah.
make about the fact that it's been going on for weeks now? We've
Yeah.
seen Homeland Security raid his homes in both Miami and Los Angeles, but no arrest has taken place. Because of your legal mind, your legal expertise, what do you make about the fact that no charges have been leveled against him as of yet?
I don't make much of it, Stephen. The feds are fetting. That's what that tells me. The federal government is. We've been aware for weeks. I assure you, this has been going on for months in terms of the investigation. Months of collecting evidence, getting witnesses to collaborate particular stories and testimonies. What we're seeing now are kind of probably the final stages of what this investigation looks like. We know the recent. You're talking about the home, and I want to get back to the Homeland Security piece, not the FBI.
That's right.
All federal agencies, but they're a little different. I want to spend some time there in a second. Put a pin in it. But the fact that they specifically, Stephen A., recently collected cell phones, other electronic devices, that's kind of the end of the road, as we say. Those are going to be the final pieces that they're looking to corroborate, probably some pre-existing testimonials for I would imagine, a long list of potential witnesses.
Let's go there for a second. When we talk about Homeland Security, the difference between local PD, FBI, Homeland Security. What are we to make of the fact that Homeland Security is the one that raided these homes as opposed to the FBI or local police?
That part is fascinating to me. Now that's where I'm interested, really, really interested, because normally we would see sex trafficking, racketeering. It sounds a lot like recently what we saw with R. Kelly. It sounds like other things we've seen in the headlines. The fact that it's not the FBI and it's Homeland Security. Homeland Security, Stephen A., is a relatively new federal division. We just got it post 9/11. It is a direct result of 9/11. So it triggers certain things, right? It normally triggers terrorism, to be quite direct, issues around border control, border safety. So when you think of some of these civil litigations that name Puffy right now, some of them also include the illegal selling of arms, the illegal selling of drugs, in addition to the sex trafficking. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We don't want to do any too much speculation here, but there's something awry where they're thinking that there's something dealing with the border issue and potentially a foreign threat of some nature. It's got to be in the mix for them to go with Homeland Security.
And the one thing that comes to my mind is when we talk about sex trafficking, obviously that's something that could be of an international variety, and obviously it entails crossing the borders, and that might be the justification
I think
as
you
to
might
why
be onto something.
Homeland Security got involved.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the case. His former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, she brought against him. It was settled a day after it was filed. Is that what set all of this in motion, in your estimation?
It did. I can't help it. When you read it, I think of what my grandmother would have said: a day late and a dollar short.
One day.
Well, and let's kind of just name it, right? The one day says that obviously Mr. Combs and his legal team might have thought this was a bluff. And sometimes this happens when you're on the back end, meaning you're on the legal representation side of these types of lawsuits, Stephen A. Know that before somebody walks that lawsuit and gets it filed in the clerk of court, there have been numerous what we call pre-litigation conversations. Lawyers picking up the phone, calling your legal team. Well, do we have an opportunity to settle this? Well, I don't think so. Well, all of that led to no resolution, which is why the lawsuit was actually filed and then settled a day later. It tells me, Stephen A., that they likely thought that the lawsuit would never actually see the light of day, that there would be so much probably fear, anxiety, hesitation, that some of the, let's just say, horrendous and horribly egregious details that we all read in that very lengthy lawsuit from Cassie would never want to be exposed. The fact that there was a willingness to finally go there publicly prompted the very quick 24 hours. I don't think I've ever seen something publicly so quick, the settlement there. And yes, to answer your question, it set everything in motion. It opened the door, as we say, to now what we're seeing as a litany of civil litigation attempts.
Another woman, Joey Dickerson Neal. She filed a lawsuit a day before the Adult Survivors Act expired.
Yes, she
First
did.
of all, explain the Adult Survivors Act, please, and its relevance.
I can. So I just recently stepped aside from my tenure. I served 6 years, Stephen A., on a board of directors for a wonderful organization called Safe Horizon. We are the largest victims advocacy group for services of victims of violent crime in the country. We specialize on New York. I named the organization because we were very vital in leading what became a legislative effort. So I want to be very clear. clear. The Sexual Survivors Act is a law. It is specific to the state of New York, and it allows a look-back window of 1 year. It says that if you have been abused and you want to be able to prove that in a court of civil law, so none of this is criminal, this is civil. These are lawsuits, civil litigation remedies. You have 1 year to bring your claim. A claim that previously would have not been viable due to statutes of limitations. So you could have been alleging that you were assaulted or harmed 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Well,
literally.
Dickinson Neal claims that nearly 32 years ago, the incident with her and P. Diddy Combs took place.
Let's think about, what's it, Jean Carroll recently won her lawsuit against Trump. I think it's...
Now that I don't know about all that, I kind of doubt Diddy's going to be able to get out of this one. Now, Diddy's former bodyguard, Jane Deal, has made it known that he kept tapes of the elites who attended his freak-off parties. Now it's only pretty natural that the feds find all those incriminated tapes in the house.
The worst is niggas niggas are shitting like crazy right now. People are going worry. Every time they door knock on the phone ring. Is that the police? Are they coming? Or they calling? They want me to come? Because you're gonna have two type of people that's the law enforcement gonna be contacting now. They were gonna be contacting victims, meaning some of the men that laying up there with their wives and acting like they're gonna be getting contact. Some of them done did some heterosexual stuff. Some of them done did some gay stuff. But they're gonna be getting contact. But more importantly, who's gonna be getting contact? It's victims. As well, I talked about the victims. It's suspects. People that were doing shit with him at the Diddy parties. And so, man, there's only one person that I'm worried about that's been bragging about and used to brag about going to Diddy parties. That I hope they don't contact him in the month of, well, I hope they never contact him. But definitely not from April and May. And hopefully we make it to June. I hope like hell they don't contact him because y'all know I'm a major Laker fan. Y'all know I am.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But people like this, they're gonna start erasing stuff like this, so y'all better get them, tag them, save them. Because look what my boy LBJ23 said. Damn, bomb first. People like that. And y'all, I love that nigga as a basketball player right after MJ and Kobe. Kobe, y'all know, is my favorite. Shaq is my second favorite. And then, of course, LeBron. And I hope like hell they don't contact people like that. But trust me, it's a lot of people like that. That's gonna be that shitting bricks right now. Y'all watch?
Yep.
How's this right here?
Yep. Stevie.
See this body right here?
Hold on, wait. It's a hair right there. Hold on.
Stand by. The next few months gonna be real interesting because they going through these tapes. They going through them and they got some tapes. People that was on no planes, y'all hear that? How they subpoenaed everybody that ever flew on the plane with Puffy. Where'd they go? Who was all on that plane with them? That's what's about to happen, y'all. Ain't shit happening. Ain't nothing gonna happen real soon. It's gonna be a major investigation going down for the next 3 or 4 months. But y'all gonna learn a lot about some of y'all heroes. Y'all gonna learn about a lot of y'all heroes. And that was the reason for the raid, y'all. Is to see what he had that he was holding on and over people's heads. And it appears from the amount of evidence that was taken out of those homes, he was keeping them. He was keeping his trophies. He treated tapes like trophies. Yeah, that would be my take.
The Cassie court filing that a prosecutor was going to pick up on some of the information she gave, because some of the information that she gave in her lawsuit was criminal. So when they looked at that, people don't understand it could be a civil lawsuit, but a person makes statements in regards to some criminal activity, a prosecutor can look up that information and then try to prosecute the individual that they're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Now, well, that's what's been the thing, is like a lot of people are saying now, I believe TMZ has reported that Cassie is cooperating.
She have to, because they would subpoena her. You understand what I'm saying? Why wouldn't she cooperate? She got $30 million already.
Right. She got the 30 mil, and it looked like she's turning around and cooperating. And I mean, man, it's really bad.
Cam, she's a victim.
But the thing,
she's a victim. If she's a victim and they deem her to be a victim, she's going to cooperate with the authorities. What's she going to do? You know the law. The law states is that they subpoena you. You come in and you tell them what you're supposed to. If you don't tell them what they ask you questions to, and you evoke your Fifth Amendment right, you have to. The judge can hold you in contempt and keep you in jail for the life of the crime. I mean, for the life of the life of the court proceedings. So why would she go through that stuff? She go in there and answer the questions they ask her.
now, do you think that's kind of tricky though, don't you think? Because she was with Diddy for like 10 years. You don't think she was part of any of these crimes or anything?
Bro, this is not tricky, because when she come in and they testify for them, they're gonna give her immunity over anything that happened. Because you gotta realize they don't want her, they want him. So the DA gonna say, yo, listen to me, anything that you tell us, you know, even though it's a criminal act that you were doing and stuff like that, we're gonna give you immunity. You're gonna be one of our witnesses. She's gonna be witness for the prosecution.
Okay. Now, with all this going on with Cassie, I mean, do you think there's a lot of other women too that are cooperating also?
All the people that they find on those tapes, when they want one individual, all they're gonna do is make a deal with them. When they make a deal with them, you understand, to testify what they know, or what they want them to testify to, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna make sure that they get them immunity for any wrongdoing that they did, and let them know what Puff did.
Man, okay. So when this happened, when the raid went down, everybody thought Diddy was running. Everybody thought he was gonna go to a country that doesn't extradite, and they were kind of comparing it to like Russell Simmons. How Russell Simmons went to a country too.
Right.
What'd you think?
Well, I think that he wasn't gonna go no, they knew where he was at. They got your phones tapped. They're gonna stop your flights or whatever. They knew exactly where he was at. I don't think that when they have a warrant, a search warrant for a residence, is not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in, like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, you know, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. You know, I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit or his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of shit coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes. You know what I'm saying? If it has anything, see, what people don't understand is this, is that